right. Yeah. The thing I want to do is speak directly to America today, the American people, and I've been letting this stuff build up. I haven't been able to get this done like I felt God has been leading me. But the thing that I'm seeing and feeling here in this country, that there's two major, well, there's one major, how you say, three major, um, um, how you say it, emotions. One is confusion, a fact. That's one thing. The other emotion is anger, and the other emotion is fear. A few months back, a few years back, a couple of years back, our fear was for Islamic terrorists and stuff like that. Now I'm listening to the radio the other day, and I'm hearing a lady say, "I'm not shopping no more. I'm going to do everything on Amazon or on the phone or whatever, or internet. I'm not going out because something is going on in this country." The thing is, I was just checking out my Constitution, American Constitution. There's some things that's missing. And one reason I got to my Constitution was this. I was watching a movie the other day, and I saw it in the paper, and I wanted to check it out. It was called, it was three parts to it. It was called The Sons of Liberty. And I watched that movie, man, it gave me so much up. I'm seeing how America is being born, but it's not really how America is being born. After I watched that movie for 3 hours, the only thing in that movie the only person in that movie that really influenced me was George Washington. He was a very humble man, but one thing I noticed, there was never a God in it. There was nothing said about God. When this country became a country, there was a Frenchman that came from France. He wanted to see what made America great. He came to this country. He walked all over this country. And what now we're seeing is what he said is going to happen if we didn't keep going where we were going. And that was taking God out of it. He said, I walked all over this country. I go into a bar. In a bar, you got people at the bar drinking. You got people at the bar that's maybe playing cards or something. But then you got over in the corner somebody having a Bible study. You go to the schools, they have no school books. There was no school textbook, so they teaching their kids to read and understand by reading the Bible. That was what made America great. God was big in this country. Where's God now? Everybody is trying to figure out a way to get away from God. I'm going to say this to America, and even to the churches. You better bring him back, because we're in trouble now. The way I see it right now is we got people out there. I drew this thing up this morning, kind of get an idea. It's kind of weird. I got on here start, confusion, and fact. And one reason I did it because I had a vision, and the vision was getting to facts. You got to go through confusion. We have a group out there today by the name of, I think, Ativus or something like that. To me, there's no difference between them and the KKK. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it because I'm going to explain it. The KKK was built up by a bunch of men that had been defeated in a war, and they lost any hope of getting their agenda done, to do their thing, even though their agenda was evil. So they started a thing to kind of help them out. They started this thing called the KKK, and in it, they would not show their face. They would not be seen, and it was a cowardice type attitude, and it was what we call today terror. Now we got a group out there called Ativas, and just because they're not attacking just blacks alone, does that mean they're not like they exactly like the KKK? They're cowards. They want to wear masks. They want to attack innocent people. The whole thing it's because why? America right now, we exist here in confusion. We don't know what's going on. And the thing about confusion I found out, if you don't know nothing, if you're confused, somebody can take you to the direction they are. There's no reason to be confused. Let's look back on history. Look back on what started this country. I'm hearing all kind of crazy stuff of global warming. I'm 72 years old, and I've never seen it. It's no warmer than it was when I was a kid. It's not getting that warm. What it is, it changes, people. God knows what he's doing. Give God a chance. Now we're going to talk about the Democratic Party. That's a party that's, okay, how they say this? You know, I remember a while back I was hearing about a minister that was had an affair with a prostitute. And his particular ministry, his particular church, did not believe in deliverance. He repented. He went on TV and repented. But not long after that, he fell again and was tempted a lot. You know, it was there because why? He did not go through deliverance. The Democratic Party stoked racism. They stoked slavery. They backed slavery. They went to the South. They told the South to continue your thing. They started another government to stand against uh, our federal government. In other words, the USA, the Confederacy they call themselves, and it was all about keeping slavery going. That was evil. You see, when I look back on the hand of God, I got this thing I call the hand of God. One day I'm gonna write it out. And the hand of God, I see the hand of God all over this country from the beginning. The founding fathers, those men that put their life on the line, those men, a lot of them was killed, didn't survive because they believed that God was moving through this thing. God was doing something. And this was going on and on. But when you get these things that come up and get in the way of God, you can see the hand of God again. You can see how those things that are contrary to God, when they raise their head, they're right. It's amazing what happened in that war. When you think about the Civil War, it's amazing when you read about the battles and read about how God just took control of the thing and did it. I was watching an old cowboy movie about the war, and I noticed something. The song they were singing. They showed the rebels when they was walking. They were saying, "Look away, look away, look away," and I said, "What are they saying?" I wished I was in. It was about Dixie, and here come the Yankees singing, "Glory, glory, hallelujah, praise compared to what?" You see, God was in this thing, people. We can't see it. A lot of people can't understand how God's hand is in that. Sometimes I feel I can see things and I know things, but it's so hard to explain them sometimes. We come, even today, we come to, and I don't want to go around in too many circles, but we come to this president we got today, Donald Trump. Now, this is a very controversial man, and that's not a bad thing. To me, it's a good thing because, you see, we've been dealing with presidents. We've been dealing with people that do have no fights, don't have the heart to stand and say, this is what I believe in, and this is what I stand for, and I'm not going to budge. Don't care what the media said, nobody. We have not seen that ever, not soon, not lately. But guess what? That's what we need. See, I think God gave us a warrior. And I think, when I say I think God gave us a warrior, I was traveling around the country during the time the election was going on, and what I saw was churches that was praying for this man. And people saying, "Oh my God, he's vulgar." He said, "No, he's not vulgar. He's just simple. He's plain. He says it and he means it, and he says it the way we understand it." And that's a problem for the people. Why is that a problem for them? Because they have another agenda. They have, how you say, solidified themselves to the point that they are so sophisticated, you got to be under their sophistication. Well, Trump is definitely not sophisticated. And I love that about him because why? He got fight, and that's what we need. Now, the sad thing about it is, it's the most amazing thing that most people are not looking at today is, since this man been in office, I've been watching him. And I've been watching, they come up, a lot of people haven't paid this no attention. He came up, he was accused of a lot of sexism and a lot of stuff that went on in his life back in the past, and they came after him with vengeance. And then how many people got busted on sexuality and lost their jobs because they was attacking Donald Trump? I sit that other day and I'm listening to Mr. Biden come out there, and he can't even say things. He accusing Donald Trump of racism, and the next speech he made was showing racism on his behalf. He calls him a white supremacist. And it's getting so bad with this racism and this white supremacist thing, I'm considered a white supremacist. Because why? Because I don't follow their doctrine and their teaching. We got problem in this country, people. We got problem because why? We're here, we're confused, and we don't know what's going on. Well, guess what? There's answers. There's answers. But you're not going to get them listening to the Democratic Party because they've always been evil and they're still evil. They've always been the problem to not just the black man, but any minority group, and not just a minority group, whites and anybody that's American, because they're not about America. And it's showing now. A few years back, they got into this thing about socialism. They was tipping around it. But now it's open. It's out in the open. They're bringing the war horse because why? They want to change this country. Obama started it, and all of a sudden here comes Donald Trump, and everything turned around, and they don't like it. Let me tell you something. People might people might hear this and may say, well, why are you talking about politics? Because the problem with us in America is we try to take God out of our lives and out of our politics. We can't do that no more. We can't continue to walk down that road. You see, the Constitution, when I go to the schools today and they say you can't teach in a government building, you can't teach, speak Bible, you can't do. I even got hollered at on my job last year by a lady because I was talking God and she didn't want to hear because she had some cousins that was homosexuals and stuff, or whatever. The key to this, guys, it's right here in this Constitution. And if we believe in the Constitution, why on earth do we not read what the Second Amendment says here? I'm going to read it just a minute. Congress shall not make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the freedom of exercise thereof. Okay, if it says Congress should not do it, why is Congress doing it? They're the one that tell me I can only pray here or pray there or whatever, and they ain't going to stop until they got rid of it. Hillary Clinton said something that scared me, and one of the reasons I was jumping so strong behind Donald Trump after Ted Cruz went down, because I was a big Ted Cruz supporter. And that's because the reason is because I was following everybody else. I was judging this man wrong. I didn't know him, but I was judging him, and I had to ask God to forgive me for that. And God showed it to me that that's his man. We may not like it. Let me tell you something. Just because God chooses you don't mean you come out walking like the Pope and acting like the Pope. It don't mean that. If you think that's what it means, go back to King David. Go back to Peter. Go back to some of the other disciples. They was kind of rowdies. They wasn't just your everyday people that come out there and act certified. No. When God come on the scene, he used those that can get the job done. And this man can get the job done. America, if you're going to survive, and I think God got us, he given us such a reprieve because we don't deserve it. If we're going to survive, we need Donald Trump, not just for 8 years. We need his continuous through the next man that follow him. Because I got news for you. They just waiting to pounce. The Democrats is just waiting to pounce. When he went to Israel and he moved the capital to Jerusalem, that upset the world. Guess what? The Democrats and Republicans have been talking about doing that for over 40 years. Somebody finally did it. That's why right now I'm here today. This whole thing today is for me to say. I talked about a lot of things and everything. The day here is we got to get from here to here. We got to get to the facts. What are the facts? Jesus Christ is the answer. Jesus Christ, who bled and died for your sins. And I like to say when I go into prison and deal with the prisons and the inmates is that he didn't just die for your sin. He suffered and died. And if we can just think about that just a minute and look back in the history and look for it. Because, see, they have did a thing with history, too. They have moved history, or they have how you say that? They Starsism or something. They have turned it into a situation like Hollywood. We're gonna talk about Moses, but we're going to talk about him the way we want to talk about him. They made a new 10 Commandments a few years back, and I went and saw it, and oh, my God, that was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I mean, they took God out of this thing, and this is what this society do because they don't know Him. People, I'm a changed man because I know Jesus. I'm a man that can sit here and tell you that the answer to your prayers and the answer to this country is Jesus. But guess what? You got to turn. I'm gonna say this, and this may sound controversial, may sound harsh, but if you're a Democrat, you better drop it. If you're a member of the Democratic Party, drop it. If you are a Christian and you're a member of the Democratic Party, guess what? You got to drop it because they're everything that God's not, and God is everything that they're not. And if you don't believe that, just look at how fast they're fighting to kill babies. You see, they think they can let the devil out and come back later and put a leash on him. They can't do that. When they started abortion, it started with a blog or something, and then it's getting to the point, well, let's kill the baby after he's born. Do you think it's going to stop there? They're going to come after the old people. They're going to continue because this is something they have no control over. You can't can't just give it up like Adam did. Adam gave it up, and Adam and Eve, they made their sin and they just gave it up. And what it did, it corrupted the world. But God made a way out of it. And we need to grab onto that way. We need to, sure, you want to be an American, you want to be patriot, then look at what the Constitution say about this and then go back and study the Bible. Those men that wrote this Constitution, those men that wrote this Bill of Rights, those men was godly men. And my heart is hurting right now because I'm seeing all this stuff on TV. I can't even hardly look at TV no more. I mean, I'm glad football is coming back. I can at least watch a little football. It's getting bad. I watch Fox News, and I'm not getting a lot of hope there either. Fox News has, something is going on that they seem to be going towards the other way. But let me tell you something about, I'm going to say this about Donald Trump. And one reason, this is not a Donald Trump uplift thing, but I think people need to see the man for who he is. And what I see is a very gentle man that's fighting a very vicious battle. And you can't do that without looking bad sometimes. Stop looking at what the man is saying. Stop and listen to what he's doing and watch him. We've came a long way since he's been president. I cannot believe my paycheck is amazing right now, and stuff. It's just even that, the simplest thing. He have changed it. He's doing what we all about. It's amazing. It used to be somebody run for office, and if they make it easy on your pocketbook, if they make it easy on you making money and create jobs, that man was the best president in the world. Why ain't this happening with Trump? Because the Democrats are telling us that this is not happening. The Democrats is telling us that we can't trust this man, and they use the word, the one most disgusting words in the world, because this word hurts more people and put fear in more people. When they use the word racism, when they use the word white supremacists, what that does, it divides us as a people. You see, there ain't no rights you got as a white man that I don't have as a black man. We got the same rights. We are equal in rights. So what's the problem? If I believe that I'm equal to you and you believe that I'm equal to you, what is the problem? The problem is we want our way, but we don't get nowhere when we get our way. That's what Antifas and all these other groups are doing. What we need is Jesus' way. We need to find out, Lord, we need to just say, Lord, I can't deal with this myself. I need you to show me. So I want to challenge America today. Man, we got to turn this thing back to Jesus. We got to give it back. We got to find a way. And to the churches, a lot of churches have gone soft too. To the churches, we got to figure out a way to get this thing back. I hear churches all the time talking about revival. You know where revival got to start? It's got to start in your heart first. I guess these people want to see every church busting wide open. You're not going to get that until you first change your heart. To those people that are called by God to now fall on their knees and humble themselves, turn away from your sin and call on the name of Jesus Christ and see him change. See him change. You see, the secret about slavery and the secret about the freeing of the slaves is not out there. They don't tell you about them old brothers and sisters that got on their knees and cried out to Jesus. They had nothing else. Heaven knows, if you want to be humble, let slavery have a little part of you. It will humble you, and it did those brothers and sisters, and they call out to Jesus. So God raised up white men to fight against white men to free the black man. Can we give some appreciation for that? Can we at least look at that and say, thank God that you did? And look at these white men that fought and died for us. And if you don't believe it, just go to the cemetery up there sometime and see all those young northern boys that came down south to die for you. And understand that it's time we turn this thing back to God. Now, I don't know how far this thing is going to go. I don't know how many people are going to hear this, but it's time we stop messing around. And let me tell you something. To the black community, your problem is you've been riding the wrong horse, going the wrong way. And it's time to turn around now. It's time to find Jesus. And it's time to understand that you did not get freed by the Democrats. The Republicans was the one that freed you, and a president lost his life in the process. You need to go back and study. If you don't know it, go and study it. It's out there. And if you're hearing this right now and saying, I'm just another sellout, I'm just that, ask yourself why you feel that way. Why you feel that I got to be a sellout? Why you feel that what I'm saying is not factual? Why you feel that what I'm saying has got to be challenged? Because you're in confusion. And I'm trying to get you to the facts. Just go out and check it. It's out there. Thank you very much. God bless you.